The movie begins with a little girl named Lyuba playing with her toy house. She suddenly notices something hiding behind it, watching her. The scene then shifts to the present, where Lyuba wakes up abruptly inside a car. Since childhood, she has struggled with mental health issues. Accompanied by her friends Zoya and Sveta, Lyuba is now on her way to attend a therapy session. On the way, the girls find a man loitering in the woods, but the man rushes into the woods. Sveta stops the car and asks the stranger if he knows the way to the village of Laskovo. The man approaches the car with ill intention, causing Sveta to drive away in a rush to avoid the lecherous man. Minutes later, they arrive at the end of the road only to find a lake ahead of them. Upon reaching the place suggested by Zoya and finding no one around, Lyuba and Sveta become increasingly disgruntled. Sveta suggests that they should return, but Zoya doesn't want to leave. Soon a canoe rowed by an elderly man arrives and asks Zoya if they are looking for a way to Laskovo. With a smile on her face, Zoya replies in the affirmative. The elderly man asks them to get on the canoe and he will help them reach the village of Laskovo. Sveta, Zoya and Lyuba get on the canoe and are ready to leave, but just then a wolf-like dog suddenly arrives and boards the canoe along with them. However, all the girls brush it aside and begin crossing the lake. The scene shifts back to the past, showing a cruise ship. On the ship, Lyuba is seen staying aloof from the ongoing party. She turns back and spots a lady inappropriately enjoying with her husband Sergei. Shortly, Sergei's boss approaches Lyuba and begins to hit on her, but Lyuba doesn't seem to be comfortable with him as he tries to touch her in an appropriate manner. After this, the scene returns to the present, showing Sveta, Zoya and Lyuba reaching the village of Laskovo. Zoya was enchanted by the beauty of the forest, but Sveta didn't seem to be enjoying it. So, she called the boatman to return, but the elderly man left her unanswered and kept rowing. Moments later, two strange men from the village show up holding torches in their hands and welcome the young ladies to the village. Zoya tells them she is there for a retreat with her friends. Then, the two men take Lyuba and her friends deep into the forest and show them a cottage in the middle of the village called Laskovo. One of the men reveals to Zoya that his people have been living on this land for over 300 years. Zoya asks them if they were the person in charge. One of them denies it, saying that they will meet them very soon. After this, the man asks the girls to submit all of their devices in order to prevent any interruption from outside the world. Hence, Zoya and the others submit their cell phones. Afterward, the man leaves. Sveta tries to cheer up Lyuba, asking her to make love to anyone she likes, but Lyuba plainly turns down the suggestion, saying that she doesn't cheat on her husband. Lyuba is seen sitting lost in thoughts on a rock near the lake. In the background, something is seen stalking her. Lyuba realizes it and sprints back to the cottage. She enters the room and hides under the bed. The scene again shifts back, showing Lyuba with her husband Sergei in a car. Sergei is furious with her for misbehaving with his boss. Lyuba reveals to him that his boss was hitting on her and was touching her butts. Instead of standing by his wife, Sergei sides with his boss, suggesting she should have flirted back. Sergei is an abusive husband, and this is one of the reasons Lyuba had to resort to a retreat. Shortly, they arrive at a gas station to fill up the tank. Lyuba spots a knife in the car. Soon, a gas station attendant approaches her and asks if she is okay. Lyuba replies that she is fine. Then, the worker hands her a visiting card, asking her to see a psychoanalyst named Anton Palchikov. The movie returns to the present and we see Lyuba wandering off in the forest. Shortly, a strange man named Danila, a member of the village, arrives blowing a conch. Lyuba tries to avoid Danila, but Danila touches her, knowing everything about her sorrowful life through flashbacks. He then leaves after telling her it will hurt her. Lyuba decides to go after him and joins the other people who came to this village for a retreat. Here she reunites with her Zoya and Sveta. Danila beats a drum with a stick while the participants stand and sing in a circular way, performing a ritual that can heal them mentally. Lyuba doesn't seem comfortable with the ritual, but keeps hallucinating about her dreadful past along the way. Danila extends his hand toward her, causing her to fall over in fear. the scene shifts back again, showing Sergei abusively hurting Lyuba on the suspicion that she is cheating on him. After this, the movie shifts back to the present, and we see Lyuba on the ground, while Danila is still engrossed in beating the drum nearby. Lyuba spots a smoky figure emerging from the forest and approaching her. She gets up and rushes to the cottage in fear. She enters it and shuts the door only to hallucinate again. She finds herself in the corridor of the cruise ship. She opens one of the rooms and finds a woman making love to Sergei. She wakes up in the forest only to find Danila waiting for her to wake up. Danila sits up and asks her what she is running from.
What are you running from, huh?
Actually, Danila has come to know everything about Lyuba. He leaves in suspense while the other participants are being treated by other gurus of the village. Lyuba tells Sveta that she has made up her mind to part from Sergei.
I have to leave Sergei.
After this, the scene shifts back to the time when Lyuba told Sergei that she wanted to move on and asked him for a divorce. She can't continue to go with this toxic relationship with him, but the abusive Sergei had become enraged by this and warned her that he wouldn't let her go that easily. This brings the story to the present. Danila asks her to let out a scream with her whole body and feel the energy. He asks her to throw her fear into the flames to let it burn. Lyuba does as he says. In the heat of the moment, she spots the same lady who mingled with Sergei on the ship among other participants. She slaps her and comes to blows with her. Sveta sides with her Lyuba by attacking the other lady, but the therapists pull them apart before the situation flares up. Soon, Lyuba realizes her mistake and sees that she attacked the wrong woman by mistaking her for the lady whom she saw with husband on the cruise ship. Danila comes into Lyuba's room and tells her he knew how strong she was. He advises her to stop thinking and let go of her thoughts that drain her energy. He inappropriately holds her in his arms and asks to accept that she is way stronger than she thinks she is. Lyuba doesn't oppose it as she never received such warmth and love from her husband. Moments later, she is seen buried to her neck while Danila performs a ritual on her. As Lyuba comes to her senses, she panics and calls Danila and his fellow therapists crazy. Danila goes away, leaving her alone. As soon as the torch extinguishes, Lyuba has hallucinations about her childhood days when her abusive father used to hurt her mother for no proper reason, and she used to see that by hiding under a table. After this revelation, she wakes up only to find a therapist and other participants sitting around bonfires. Soon after, Zoya approaches her and Lyuba explains to her that they need to get out of this village as all psychotherapists are completely lunatic. At this, Zoya beats herself up for bringing Lyuba for a retreat, saying that the problem isn't with the psychotherapist, but with her. Then, Lyuba decides to flee the forest alone. On her way to the lake, she finds Sveta buried to her neck just like she was. Lyuba barely pulls her out of the pit, but Sveta tells her that she is pregnant and she doesn't want to give birth to this child. Lyuba tries to convince her that there is no baby inside her womb. She reveals to Sveta that the lunatic therapists gave them something and they are all hallucinating because of that.
What about the others?
Lyuba cautiously approaches the cottage to recover her cell phone so that she can call the police, but she finds Danila performing a ritual on a lady. However, she catches Danila's attention, who madly tells her that the healing therapy is excellently working on her. He then vanishes into thin air. Lyuba manages to retrieve her cell phone, then she returns to Sveta in the forest.
It's me. It's me.
She brings Sveta with her and runs to the shoreline while two men are searching for them in the woods. Shortly, because of Sveta's cry, the searching men catch her, but Lyuba manages to escape for now. Lyuba desperately tries to reach the lake, but unfortunately ends up being surrounded by other possessed participants. Danila arrives beating his drum. Not long after, Sergei is produced before Lyuba.
Sergei.
He asked you to talk.
Danila and his men force Sergei to talk to Lyuba. Sergei asks Lyuba if she is the one who has set up his kidnapping. Lyuba denies, saying that they have held her hostage either. She then tells him she saw him with a woman on the ship, and she is sure he slept with other women too. This infuriates Sergei, causing him to hurt Lyuba again. Lyuba reaches out for a knife and slits Sergei's throat in desperation, killing him. However, she also passes out the very next moment and sees her mother, who asks her to suffer. Afterwards, she regains consciousness and finds Danila sitting before her. Lyuba crawls up to Sergei's corpse, but she flinches when she realizes that she killed another person, mistaking him for Sergei. Lyuba asserts that it was Sergei and everyone saw him, but Danila tells her that he and others just found her near the corpse. Lyuba blames Danila for every hallucination she is going through. Then, Danila tells her she did the right thing. She did nothing but defend herself from the attack. He kisses her on her forehead and calms her down. Lyuba is seen crying at her pitiful condition inside the cottage, while Danila tries to heal her. He approaches her and forces her to remember what she did to those who tormented her. We see that Lyuba was going to end her life in the car, but the gas station attendant spotted her and stopped her in time. Afterward, the smoky figure enters Lyuba's body. Later in the forest, while searching for the car keys, Lyuba hallucinates that a man is trying to assault her physically, so she slits his throat, believing him to be Sergei. Following this, she calls Sveta and asks to flee from the woods with her, but Sveta has changed her mind, resolving to stay in the woods for the rest of her life. So Lyuba leaves alone for the shoreline. On her way to the lake, she encounters the smoky entity that haunts her, forcing her to remember her painful past.
Let's play a little bit. My little good girl. Come on, here to play.
When Lyuba gets back to her senses, she finds Danila before her and tells him that she doesn't want to live anymore, causing Danila to break down in tears. Consequently, the other participants begin preparing her for the ritual. They take her into the woods and tie her around a pillar, readying her to be sacrificed in the flames. Meanwhile, the real Sergei arrives in the woods, searching for his wife, Lyuba. He points his gun at Danila and the others, threatening them to stay away from Lyuba. Zoya tells Lyuba she is almost free, but Sergei shouts Zoya down and rushes with his wife back to the lake. He manages to cross the river with Lyuba by boat. However, once on the other side, he and Lyuba immediately fall into a heated argument again over their failing relationship. After touching land, Sergei asks her to get in the car, but Lyuba refuses, greatly angering him. Lyuba strikes him back, forcing him to pull out his gun. Just then, Danila arrives and knocks Sergei down, taking Lyuba back towards the woods by boat. In the meantime, Sergei recovers his senses and aims a sniper rifle at Lyuba. Danila is struck by a bullet in the back, which proves fatal. Lyuba desperately pleads with him not to close his eyes, telling him she needs him, but Danila dies. Sergei then chases Lyuba into the woods, firing his weapon but missing every time. Lyuba flees as she hears his voice and desperately searches for a hiding place, but instead encounters the same smoky entity. Lyuba holds the hand of the smoky figure, and it instantly transforms into her younger self. The present Lyuba embraces her younger self, allowing her to enter her body. Meanwhile, Sergei arrives and shoots Lyuba, but she turns into smoke, leaving him perplexed. She then approaches and touches Sergei, transporting him back to his childhood days, where he relives being assaulted by his mother. In the present, Sergei painfully ends his life by slitting his wrist. Subsequently, Lyuba leaves the woods and arrives across the lake. She gets in her car and drives away. In the end, she calls her abusive father, urging him to meet her one last time. The final scene shows Danila resurrecting in the woods, opening his eyes,